Hello friends, this is Smart Twister here. In this video, I'm going to talk about taxes. Recently, Government of India introduced GST, a single tax regime for the entire country, so that the businesses, it's a form of sales tax imposed nationwide. And in the recent budget, Mr. Arun Jaitley, the finance minister, has reintroduced a capital gains tax on investors, a long-term capital gains tax on investors. Uh, so I just thought this would be a time to talk about taxes. Especially, I'm very pissed off with this capital gains tax. It's really, really not good for the economy. It's not okay to punish the investors. Anyway, we have to understand the origin of tax system. Taxes were originally created as a means of wealth redistribution. Some people are rich, some people are poor. Taxes is a way of redistributing the wealth, take some money from the rich people and give it back to the poor people. It's a form of wealth redistribution. That's the motive behind taxes. That's what taxes were originally designed for. But unfortunately, wealthy people always figure a way out of their problems. They never suffer. They always figure, they always find a way to get them out of troubles. So there are several forms of taxes today. We have sales tax, we have wealth tax, we have income tax, we have business tax, and so on. Uh, of this, sales tax is by far the most regressive form of taxes. Sales tax is the worst because we as consumers pay the sales tax, right? We every dollar we spend, we pay some taxes on it. This is the most regressive form of tax. Why? Because it the poor people bear so much burden of the sales tax. Think about it. What percentage of your income are you spending? Probably 30%, 40%, 50%. The percentage of expenditure will be higher for a poor person. A person who is living from paycheck to paycheck will spend all their money, 100%, which means they are paying taxes on 100% of their income. However, the rich people, on the other hand, will probably spend 1% of their income or 2% of their income. Their income is so high that they spend very little, which means their contribution to the taxes is very, very less. Almost all of the burden is borne by poor people. Everybody has to eat, everybody has to buy rice, everybody has to buy vegetables. So there is so little you can do to cut down on expenditures. Like you have to spend at least on necessary expenditure, which means poor people have to spend a lot and they pay a lot of taxes on sales tax. The sales tax is the most regressive form of taxes. An ideal tax should be wealth tax because that's the that's the direct tax on wealthy people. Like a, a wealth tax, like everybody has to pay, let's say 1.5% or 2% of their net worth. That's the fairest form of taxes because that directly tax the rich people. Like whoever is rich pay more taxes, whoever is poor pay less taxes. That's a fair tax. Wealth tax is the fairest form of tax. Unfortunately, it is practically not possible to impose wealth tax. Why? As soon as the a person becomes wealthy, if he is not comfortable paying the wealthy taxes, he will move to a different country. He will go to places like Monaco or Middle East or some other tax haven where there is no wealth tax. Like wealthy people always find a way to avoid taxes. That's one of the advantages of being rich. We can't blame them. Everybody looks after their own interest, so we can't blame them for that. But yeah, that's how the world works. This is why everyone struggles to become rich. Anyway, so wealth tax is practically not possible unless all the countries in the world decide to have a uniform tax regime, abolish every tax except wealth tax, and they impose the same rates. This is not gonna uh, work out practically. So most countries do not have wealth tax. Certain countries like France still does. I don't know why. They have wealth tax and they cry that all the millionaires are moving out of the country. Uh, anyway, uh, the next tax is income tax. Income tax is okay, reasonable, reasonable tax because it taxes your income. Like the higher income you earn, you pay more taxes. The lower income you earn, you pay less taxes. And even within income tax, instead of a flat percentage, they have a progressive system of percentage, which means your amount of the rate of tax will be higher for a high income earners, and the rate of tax for low income earner is lower. So yeah, that's a that's a reasonably fair argument as well. This is reasonably a fair system of taxes. This is why I get pissed off when guys like Subramanian Swamy wants to abolish income taxes. He doesn't believe in income taxes. During the time of demonetization or something, he said that demonetization has to be coupled with abolishing income taxes. That's such a stupid idea. I mean, income tax is one of the fair amount of taxes in India, especially, only 3% of the population pays income taxes. So the problem is not with income taxes, the problem is collectability of income taxes. Only those who work in as salaried employees pay taxes, income taxes, because they that get detected at source. There is no escape from that. That is why salaried people pay taxes. Like all those small business owners, self-employed people never pay income taxes. Such a so yeah, something has to be done about collectability of income taxes. But income tax is a fair system of tax. You pay whoever withdraws a high amount of income pays high taxes. Even then, rich people have a way out. Like take for example Warren Buffett. He he's the CEO of one of the richest companies in the world, and he withdraws very little as income. All his net worth is tied as shares in Berkshire Hathaway, his company, but he withdraws very little income, which means he is liable to pay very little on income tax. the the wealthiest person pays by far one of the very small amount of taxes because he limits his income to very little. He lives a modest life. He eats every day in McDonald's and lives in his old house in Omaha, Nebraska, and his cost of living is very modest for his amount of wealth, so he doesn't pay a lot in income taxes as well. So that is a loophole there as well. People, wealthy people, try to limit their income, thereby reduce the amount of income taxes. What about corporate tax? What about business tax? Business tax is ultimately going to be passed down to the end customer. Again, the customer is going to get penalized. Any tax on business is again going to be passed on to the customers. So that's not going to help either. It trickles down to the end customer, and the end customer who is going to bear the business taxes. Again, like it it doesn't encourage new businesses to emerge or foreign businesses to come to India and start their operation here to create jobs. It hinders economic growth altogether. So, and this capital gains tax, again, it's just a stupid idea. Like, we need more capital in India. Equity markets are so underdeveloped in India. That's why corporations are looking for debt financing. And then the companies are so much indented. They are like cases like Vijay Mallya defaulting on their loans happen. And again, who is going to suffer? The government has announced a big bailout package, just like it happened in the housing crisis in United States. The same thing happened in India as well. The central government has announced a big package of bailout package for Indian banks to to organize to regularize their balance sheet for the bad loans they gave all the public banks. So it's basically taxpayers' money. So, uh, so yeah, capital tax is again a stupid idea. We need more capital. Like people should participate in equities. There should be more equity capital available. We should not rely only on foreign investors to invest in Indian equity markets. We as Indians, uh, even rich people, poor people, middle income people, everybody should be participating in the equity markets. Uh, I think I studied this a while ago that almost only one third of the total trading volume in Bombay Stock Exchange is from domestic investors. Two-thirds of the total trading volume comes from overseas. So basically, whatever happens in the market in India, whether it goes up or down, is totally determined by overseas investors, not from domestic investors. It's very really funny to see all those business channels in India talk about how budget session affected Indian stock markets and how the election result affected Indian stock markets. That's total bullshit. Whatever, nothing that is happening in India has a very minor impact on what is going on in the stock market. Stock market is completely driven by what is happening outside India because all the money is from foreign investors. So if something currently the markets are down because there are some negative sentiments in United States. So foreign investors are scared. That's why the markets are going down. Anyway, so what is the solution? Like, if all the taxes are bad, what should the government do? They should not collect any taxes. I'm not saying that. I mean, we need the taxes, but it should be reasonably low, just enough for the government to function, to deliver the basic necessary services. It should not be viewed as a form of wealth redistribution at all. Tax should not be treated as a means of wealth redistribution. It should be seen as a way of functioning government. The primary objective of a government is to protect private ownership, law enforcement, protect private ownership. That's by far the most essential function of the government. Providing quality education, providing quality healthcare, all these are all secondary. First thing is to make sure all the private wealth is protected. Why? Because that's what is driving the economy. Everybody wants to become rich. I wake up every morning and go to work with only one goal. I work hard to make more money so that I can become rich, so that I can give better life to my family. So that's the whole objective. Everyone is functioning. The economy is a convergence of personal ambitions. Each and every individual's ambition converge together to that's what is the economy. If everyone is becomes rich, the country becomes rich. It's as simple as that. So if I become rich and then somebody is gonna steal my wealth, then I don't have any motivation to become rich in the first place. I will not work hard. Why should I work hard? Because somebody is going to take away my wealth if I become rich. So, protection of private wealth is the single most important function of a government. And next, everybody should have access to quality education, everybody should have access to quality healthcare, everybody should have clean drinking water and basic necessities, etc. etc. So, only the taxes should be limited to the bare minimum so that the government can provide these basic facilities. Law enforcement, education, healthcare. That's it. Do not impose high taxes on business. Do not impose high taxes on investors. Do not impose high income taxes. Do not impose high wealth taxes. Basically, taxes are an infringement to the growth of economy. That's it, guys. Thank you for your time. It's my view, it's my opinion. You may disagree, you may agree. Please let me know in the comment section. Let's start a healthy discussion and see you again in some other video. Thanks a lot. Bye. And please like, share, and subscribe.